Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Book a Lunch Date. So today we'll be making a very famous Taiwanese cuisine. I personally describe it, what my friends ask, I personally describe it as the pizza of Taiwan. It's not bread, it's minced pork, braised minced pork. The reason why it's kind of like pizza from Taiwan, it's because it's everywhere. Kind of like when you don't know what to eat, you go for pizza because everyone loves pizza, right? So same thing, like if you don't know what to eat, this is the food that everybody loves, and it's kind of like a very classic Taiwanese food, and it's in almost every single like a little stand, it's a street food and a restaurant food, so it's just it's just one of the best food ever. Anyways, I'm biased. And on top of it, it's really easy to make. It's perfect for lunch and dinner. So a lot of people, one of the questions I got when people find out that I do a lot of home cooked meal is that how do you have the time? How do you have time to get home and quickly whip out a meal? So that's why I'm going to show you guys today, to have a really quick meal and really utilize your tools at home. So I'm going to go through the ingredients like usual. We have pork. And this is minced pork. It's harder to find minced pork in the market. You can either buy pork chop and you can either buy pork and chop it yourself or mince it yourself, or you can always substitute with beef that has higher fat level. I wouldn't go with chicken or turkey. It's just a little bit too on the drier side. I would definitely go with pork if you can find it. Okay, and then you have Ishida mushroom. Okay, so you can usually find the Ishida, sorry, not Ishida, shiitake mushroom. So the ones I'm using, it's already sliced for me. Usually you can find it in most Asian market or some Asian aisle, like from Target. Sometimes you will be able to find it. So it will look something like this. It's already dried, so it's really easy for you to buy some and then put it in the storage, and they last for a long time because they're already dried. It really gives you a very strong earthy feeling, and it's a little bit chewy. So it's really good. We use a lot in our cooking. We put it in soup, we put it in like saute food. It has a really strong and really flavorful, you can almost taste the sun. So the one I'm using today is already sliced, and usually you can find the whole slice. Basically what you want to do with this is you want to wash it, you want to rinse it, and then you have to soak it in water. A little tip, if you want to do, you can always soak it in hot water. You can boil some water and soak it in hot water. That will cut down the time that you have to soak. If without hot water, sometimes it can take up to an hour or like an hour for it to be easy to cut, not like rock hard. So hot water, and then just let it sit for about 15 minutes, and it'll be done. And then you also some onion and garlic, star anise. You can get this from any I think most stores will have them also. You don't need like a whole lot. I'm only using like a little bit. Sauce wise, you need some soy sauce, sugar, and rice wine. Again, because we're using pork, so you can definitely, and you can, it's up to you if you don't like. Some people don't like the pork smell, or some people just don't like it. Or if you want to add an extra layer, you can always add some minced not garlic, ginger to it. So you can always add some minced ginger to it. It's completely up to you. I'm not adding it today. Sometime I would add it. And the oil that we're using today is a little bit different from before as well. So today we're actually using sesame oil. It gives it gives the dish an extra layer of flavor. If you don't have sesame oil, or you just don't like the flavor of sesame oil, you do not have to use it. You can just use regular cooking oil, whatever you have at home. Okay, so that's all the ingredients today. And I will also be sauteing some pak choi. Okay, so these are, no, they are everywhere, but I feel, and I really like to buy these because they come in a nice little package that goes in great with soup, or and also they cook really fast, and you can saute them. So that's going to be a complete meal for me today. So that's because this already washed, so I'm just going to set them aside for later use. So one thing about cooking is that you have to know what you're doing. You have to prepare ahead of time. Don't ever try not to start something like, oh shoot, I need to grab something. That's going to cut down your productivity and organized skill down way low. So today I'm sauteing my veggie. So the garlic that I'll be using, I will add in extra cloves. So when I'm cutting, I know some of them I'm saving for my veggie. Okay, so let's start cutting my garlic. So I will be cutting them in two types. One is just a whole clove. I'm just removing the skin from it. These are from my braised minced pork. Okay, so I'm just removing that. Oh, these ones are easy to remove. Okay, and then so I have 4 cloves for the. You know what? I have 4 little ones for my braised pork and 1 big one for my veggie. So it's pretty simple. Just go through it. You can put them in the same place. They're the same thing. And then you also need your onion. You also want to mince your onion. And a lot of people have questions about how to mince your onion. And I bet you can find tons of YouTube video out there. So I'm just going to do a quick demonstration. So when you're cutting your onion, I'm probably going to use, with this amount, I'm probably going to use about 1/3 of my onion, a little less than 1/3 of my onion. So again, if you keep the ending part, it's going to make your onion last a little bit longer when you put it in the fridge. So that's what I like to do. Wrapping it back on so I can use it for 1 more or 2 more meal. Alright, so what you want to do, you want to cut only one side, one end of it, okay? And then now it's going to allow you to peel back the skin that you do not want. But overall, the onion is still attached on one side. And then you're going to run your knife across let me remove my pot so you can probably see better. So you're going to run it across with the width that you want, but you're not going to cut it off completely. So you're not slicing the whole thing. You still want the end part to be attached. Okay? So like this. And just watch your finger. You hold the onion in place. Okay, very good. So see, my onion is still attached. Everything is still attached at this point, right? So you're holding it, it doesn't fall apart. And then you hold it sideways. Just watch your finger. Okay, guys, be careful with your finger. And then just run it across. Very easy. And I'm making a bigger portion today than last week because my husband is home today, so, need to feed him. He got to eat. And then once you get to the end, then you turn it sideways. Okay, so you have more room to work with. And then you just cut, turn the angle, cut, 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 cut. watch your finger and until you have the very last piece, so you don't waste anything. And there you go, you have minced onion. Let me go grab a plate so I can put this in there. Alright. You can probably find better demonstration video if I have any question on YouTube. But that's just how I would usually mince my onion. Alright, so, oh, and we also need to cut our mushroom. So again, with Chinese food, one thing you have to keep in mind is you want to keep everything in similar size. So we have our minced onion, we have our minced pork, so later on we need to mince our mushroom, right? So cut it in smaller pieces. So you want to squeeze it because it's dry, so it's going to grow a little bit and then absorb all the liquid. So you want to squeeze it out with your hand. I wash my hand, I'm eating it, so it's okay. And squeeze it out. If you realize the water of the color of the water is going to change a little bit, that's perfectly normal. Remember, we washed the mushroom already, we rinsed it already. This is pure flavor. We use this a lot in cooking. If you don't feel comfortable using it, you do not have to, but we do, okay? That's why when I'm soaking my mushroom, I always use clean water. I will always boil the water, so these are good to go. Alright. So you do the same thing, you just run it through, run it through a knife so it's about the same size. It doesn't have to be too small because you still want that. You want that mouthfeel. You want that flavor in your when you're biting into your pork. Okay, I need another plate. All right. And then you know what? While I'm at it, I'm also going to cut. So I like to cut everything that I'm cooking today, that I'm working with today, all together, so I can get the cooking out of the way. Again, organize your station. So do one thing at a time. It's also really good when you have guests coming over. I would do all the cutting. I would prep everything. Maybe sometimes in the morning, even if it's a dinner, even if it's like a dinner event. So if I run out of stuff, I can go out to buy it. So that way you have time to prepare. You're not running out of time. You're not like running around last minute. You have to work smart in the kitchen, right? That's probably a little bit too much. Let's cut it in 2 portions. Okay. So when you are cooking this, what you want to do is you want to separate the leafy part and the bony part. Like the part that's closer to the stem, you want to separate from the leafy part. Okay, so I'm going to put it in separate pile. The reason is it takes a slightly longer for the stem part to cook, just a teeny little bit. So what you want to do is when I'm cooking, I will add in the stem part earlier. So when they are all cooked, they will come out to be the same level of cookedness, like doneness. I don't know, but you get what I'm saying, right? So they will be all done at the same time, basically. It doesn't have to be perfect either, like the middle part where you're like, oh, which part does it go to? It doesn't have to be that careful with that. So I'm just gonna cut the small one in half. So again, I have 2 piles. You can see better like this. I have 2 piles, 1 stem and 1 leafy part. Go back to the back counter so I have space to work on. I finished cutting everything, double check. Done with the cutting board. Alright. So let's come on my stove. All right. Here we go. Heat up my pot. So I'm adding my oil in. Just a little bit. Again, I'm using sesame oil. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. In today's video, you're going to have a little bit trouble seeing. I know it's because the pot is higher. I'm not using my what's it called? My sauteing pan. This is a more sauce, has liquid in it. Okay. So before it got super hot, I'm adding in my onion. So you're not hearing that big sizzling sound. I'm actually going to turn down the flame a little bit. So I'm again adding that liquid, removing the liquid, caramelize the onion. I'm not using like big flame to fry them. Okay. Oh, I love the smell of sesame oil. That's one of my favorites. Smells really good. This dish like brings back childhood memory. When I was a kid, I love this dish. You put it on top of rice and you can get like 3 bowls of it. It's amazing. And then you add in your mushroom. Like braised, like food braised in soy sauce. It's kind of like the classic Taiwanese or Chinese food that you can find in Asia. It's everywhere. It's everywhere in restaurant. It's everywhere in everyone's home. It's like this is the smell of home, and it's super duper easy to use. Oh, and today I'm using regular onion, the sweet onion that you can find. Sometimes family will use scallion, so it's up to you what kind of onion you want. It's a little bit sweeter. It's completely up to you. I feel like onion works great, and I have that around my home. So, but you do have to. This is a part where my mom would say you cook with your nose. You don't know when it's going to be done. Because when I was like, I asked her, I was like, hey mom, when do you know that your mushroom it's ready? It's like ready for your next step. And she's like, when you can smell it. So yeah, when you can smell it, then you know it's done. Nope, not done yet. So yeah, you just have to wait a little bit. But you do want to make sure your flame is not too high because you don't want to burn it. And you do have to make sure you're moving your mushroom and the mixture around. And it's kind of uncomfortable like posture right now because my stove is a little bit lower and this is a little bit higher. Okay, I can smell it. Almost done. And the last step, then you can add in your garlic. You always want to add in your garlic last because garlic cook really fast. So if you add in too early, it's going to burn. So you add it in. We're adding that later. And then now I'm adding my so the pork itself. Okay, so all the oil that I added in was actually absorbed by the mushroom because it's fried mushroom, so it will absorb all the liquid or even oil from the pot. So all the oil was actually gone already. Now the fat from the pork is going to be released from the heat. So you don't need to add in more oil. That was the only oil that I'll be adding, but you do want to make sure you're mixing it. And I like the non-stick material to do this dish, just because sometimes when you're not careful and stuff like that, it might stick. So the non-stick version is a lot better. Maybe this pork is closer to like chili in American standard. I don't know, but either way, they're all good. Delicious food is always good. So you want to continue mixing it until it's fully cooked. Remember, pork has to be fully cooked. You don't want to get sick, right? So just keep cooking it, mixing it so it doesn't burn. Turn up the flame so we can work faster. Come on, come on. Oops. Onion escaped. So all the oil has released, and then the mushroom is going to continue to absorb that liquid. Okay. Okay, so it's halfway there. Now we are adding in our soy sauce and alcohol. Let's do alcohol first. Or just a dash of it. Our soy sauce, and this is I'm using a regular kind just in case if I use the sweeter one, people won't be able to find that. This is just a regular kind you can get from Costco or probably everywhere. So I'm not adding as much. Okay. Saved it. So just give it a quick stir. And then adding my sugar. Because I add in a little bit soy sauce. Remember, soy sauce always go with sugar. Okay, that's the rule of thumb. If you add in some soy sauce, you better add in some sugar. The more soy sauce you add, the better. The more sugar you add. You can even do it in restaurants. Okay, guys. If you have like soy sauce. Like if you order, let's say, pot sticker and you want to add in some soy sauce, you want to dip in soy sauce, try it and ask for some sugar sometimes, and just add a tiny bit to your dipping sauce and try it. You are going to open a whole new world, trust me. Because that's going to give you your soy sauce like so much flavor. You don't have to add in a whole lot, just a tiny bit. That's going to give you so much flavor into your dipping sauce. And it's going to be so good. Okay, and then the rest of the water that I used to soak the mushroom, I'm going to add it in and just allow it to boil. You're pretty much done. That's all. But you have to let it cook. You have to let it simmer for a little bit. So I'm going to bring it up to a boil and let it simmer. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my stove top. So most family have around 2 or 3 stove top that you can use at home. So you can just move it back, let it simmer, let it sit when you're working on other stuff. Work smart. Don't be so fixated on one dish. Once this is ready, you saute your vegetable. You are ready for dinner, right? So work smart, guys. I'm gonna let it simmer. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil and then let it simmer. Okay, but it's gonna be pretty quick. And at the meantime, I will be working over here on my veggie. So with my veggie, simmer, turn it down, and you can just relax over there. With my veggie, I'm just going to use regular cooking oil. sometimes when I'm in a mood, when I feel like it, especially in winter, I would also even use sesame oil to saute my veggie. It really give you an extra layer without going crazy, right? Without like using different stuff. You can try at home if you want to. If you don't like sesame oil, you do not have to do that. Okay, so just need to melt my veggie over here. So now you're doing 2 dishes at the same time. I do this really frequently when I have guests coming over, or if I have like, you know, pre-COVID, when your friends like, hey, you want to come over for lunch or for dinner, and you're like, oh crap, I have to work today, oh no, I only have like an hour, how am I going to, you know, serve a full meal? Work smart, right? So remember, the stem goes in first. And then give it a quick stir. And sometimes I will add in some water, and today my rice wine is right there, so I'll add it in. If you're using rice wine, you want to make sure you add it in earlier so the alcohol can evaporate. Or if you like the alcohol part, you don't have to. And then now I'm adding in the leafy part. Let's go. Add some salt. A dab of sugar, or you know, whatever you like. Just a little bit. You don't have to do that if you don't want to do that. Sometimes I'll do that. You can need a little bit more liquid. So once it's really loud. So once the leafy part is all soft and smooth and like in there, then you turn off the flame. Let the rest of the heat, you know, do the last little bit of work. When you're cooking leafy veggies, the last thing you want to do is to put a lid on it. It cooks really fast. So like broccoli, bok choy. The last thing you want to do is don't ever put a lid on it. It cooks fast enough already as it is. Don't put a lid on it. Once you put the lid on it, it's going to overcook it and it's going to turn yellow. It's not going to be pretty. Don't ever do that. It's not going to be that green and pretty leafy color. Safety wise, let's remove that. And add a plate. No, get a plate. And done. Alright. So let me remove. Oh, you know what? I actually forgot to add in my star anise. Oh no. I can go in there now. Oopsie. It's okay. It's so tiny that I forgot about it. Sorry guys. I'm just going to quickly mix it in. It releases flavor fairly fast, but it's fine. Just remember to add it in when you're cooking it. I'm going to give it a quick stir. Turn up the heat, turn up the flame a little bit so it can release the flavor faster and reduce a little bit liquid. I feel like there's a little bit too much liquid in there, so I'm going to do a quick cleanup. Put it over there. My veggie is here. What are we missing now is our rice. So I have rice in the fridge. This is another tip, guys. I always cook more rice. I usually cook about 3 or 4 days worth of rice when I am at home. So I'll use like 4 cups or like 3 cups of rice for just me and my husband. This way I can put it in a container like this and just put it in the microwave. Rice you can put it in, it will probably last a good 3-4 days. As long as you put it in the fridge, they're gonna be fine. This is going to save you so much time. You don't have to keep cooking rice like every single day. This will save you time. Okay. So I'm going to have two bowls. Just 2 of us. No, I'm just going to do 1 bowl. And maybe next week, I don't know, sometimes when I have time, I will also show you how to make fried rice. With fried rice, here's the forecast. Okay, here's the tip. You have to, it will be a lot easier if you used old rice, so like rice from your fridge. Because it will be a lot easier for you to separate your rice instead of all sticky together. So that's the tip. Let's do that. Put it in the microwave. And usually about this time I will start calling my husband and telling him, hey, it's ready for dinner. Because when he actually walked down to the kitchen table, everything will be done. Alright, put that over there too. Let's take a look. And toward the end, that's when you want to do your tasting. Okay, so you want to make sure your seasoning is okay. You don't want to do it too early because all your ingredients are still releasing fragrance. It's still releasing taste. So if you do your tasting too early, you're not going to get the accurate tasting. You want to get it toward the end. That way you can adjust. Okay, it's not salty enough. Let's add this. If it's too salty, let's add this. So that's the way to do it. Okay? It's perfect. So I don't need to add in anything else. If you like a little bit spicy, what you can do is you can add in some pepper as well. But what I would recommend is don't cut your pepper. Wash it and just put it in directly. You don't want the seed to burst because once you bite into that seed, it's going to be too spicy for that person. It's not a roulette, right? So you just add in the whole thing and then just put it in. And sometimes people will remove it. It's going to give you additional flavor to your dish. I'm not doing it today, but you can give it a try if you want to. Alright. So what you want to do is take a spoon, a little liquid, and put it around the top. And maybe enough for like 3-4 people. So what you can do is make it, and then once it cools down, you can put it in another lockup container. This is perfect for lunch, guys. This you can you can take it to work, put it in the microwave, have like a perfect meal plan if you're doing that. You can put just make a little bit, and then it came so flavorful that you can just put on top of the rice, add some veggie. That can be your lunch tomorrow at work. Pop it in the microwave at work. Everyone will be so jealous. Right? And it's super healthy because you have your meat and mushroom, your onion, as well as your veggie. right, and we are ready for tasting. You know what? I'm gonna use this. So, I mean, if you want, you can make it nice and pretty. I don't know why I grabbed a small bowl for this today. I should have grabbed a bigger bowl, but it's look amazing. Alright, let's give it a try. Ah, it's hot. It goes so good with fries. This is... Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. This is the taste of home. This is the taste that brings me back to my childhood. This is awesome, and it doesn't take too crazy ingredients, right? I also made the vegetarian one before for my vegetarian friend. It's super duper easy. They have vegetarian meat outside, right? And I also add in tofu. So what you want to do is you want to get the firm tofu. Don't get the soft tofu. You want to get the firm one, okay? And then you want to dice it. Again, dice everything, cut it in very small pieces, and then just do the same thing, and you will be perfect. Okay? My veggie. This is the most common way that I cook my veggie. So I know it tastes good. It's just like what I had yesterday. No, it's good. And again, you have a meal in under 30 minutes. I take 36 minutes because I was doing talking, I had the introduction. If it's just me cooking at home, I can have a dinner ready in under 30 minutes. That's amazing for any working moms. That's amazing if you have people coming over last minute. So give it a try, guys. If you want to see other videos, I'll see you next week, okay? Bye, guys.